Well, folks, I'm here today with Phil Barker, and Phil is a candidate in the up-and-coming local body elections, and as you know, an invitation's been sent to every candidate seeing if they'd like to have an interview and perhaps talk to coasters about why they're sitting, what they can bring to the table, their dreams for the future of their area, whether it's Buller, Grey or Westland. Well, Phil, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. Why are you sitting?
Well, the main reason I'm sitting is I want to make a bit of a difference and want to help out in the area and have a bit of a say. I've packed a lot into my life, so 52 years old, so I'm young, mixture of youth and experience. But I want to contribute towards better public confidence in the council. Rightly or wrongly, quite a lot of people do have a bit of a negative impact on the councillors. I'm not going to judge who's right or wrong, but I think I can make a positive contribution towards it, and I'm at the stage in my life where I'm able to put time into it, and I like a challenge, and I want to have a go. Yeah.
Now, Phil, you've heavily invested in the tourism sector, so you'll be bringing that experience. You bring that experience to the table.
Yeah, definitely, and so. Obviously, Sonia and I mentioned my lovely wife because she was the driving force behind it. But we've invested approximately, quite a lot of money, 3 million or so, into a business, a local business in Hokitika, and it's to help our town as well, not just ourselves. And it's going really well, and I bring that experience. We've had a lot of battles getting there, and Bruce, you helped me with some of those battles. But we got there in the end, and we're now growing that business. But the fact is, I've got to make decisions based on my resources. I've got to be able to produce excellence in terms of service. I've got to look after my staff. I've got to manage the books, the bookings. I've learned a lot, and it's at a late stage of my life, 50, to get into business. But after being a policeman for 30 odd years, it's been a real revelation, and I really enjoy doing it. Yeah.
So, from a governance point of view, you've, in looking at your statement that's gone out, you've got quite a lot of governance experience.
Yeah, I have. So, I'll explain what some of it is. So, I have served 2 terms on the Board of Trustees at St Mary's, and my children went to St Mary's Primary School, so I wanted to go to work there. Obviously, it's a very well-run school, so there wasn't a lot of real major issues or anything to deal with, but I've also got governance experience through several clubs and that I've belonged to. I've been in committees and vintage car clubs, of all things, rugby league clubs, even a surf lifesaving club, believe it or not. And I've also been in area leadership teams in the police. So I was an NCO for 20 years, so that's a non-commissioned officer, a sergeant and a senior sergeant. And I represented the people in the Brighton and North Canterbury area on their leadership team for several years. And I also did that on the West Coast for 3 years. So I have got governance experience and, working as a team to make decisions, sometimes very difficult decisions. And that experience in total would be, over decades really. I've always been involved in governance, and so I can bring that to the table.
So one of the issues that you and I have talked about over the last probably couple of years is rate increases. Do you have views on rate increases?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't mind the fact that my business has to pay a fair amount of rates, and we do. I did worry about the 5% or 4.85, actually, I better be fair, slightly under 5% rate rise, because, I'm used to running a business with a tight budget, and I believe that the rates increases shouldn't be more than inflation, and that, I think that all ratepayers, particularly people on lower incomes and people, older people, can't afford 5% rises. They're not going to get a 5% increase in their pension or whatever. And so I think it's just responsible to try and keep rate increases as low as possible. I know that you personally did campaign on that, and I just think it's important to try and do that. I do think, however, in the future that there's going to be, it's more likely to happen because now there is an increased rating base, particularly commercially. In Hokitika, now that all accommodation providers like us and even the Airbnbs are all now on an even playing field. So if anything, I think it's going to be possible in the future, and I'd certainly be aiming to try and keep it as low as possible and near inflation if possible.
So when you look at Westland and representing, say, the Hokitika ward. Where's Westland going to be in the next 5 years?
Well, we're on the cusp of a wave. There's definitely growth. Tourism's growing. Our bookings are up substantially here this year, and you can see that more people are coming here again. I think last year things were probably steady but didn't increase, maybe to do with the road opening in Kaikoura and the fact that it was closed and then it opened. But this year I can see an increase in tourism traffic. I think there is potential for growth. I think we're on the cusp of a bit of a wave actually, and I think it's exciting times. So there needs to be progressive people in there that want to see change, and it's not just about saving money. I think it is also about looking with an eye to the future, and I believe the council shouldn't be making all the decisions. They should create an environment though to encourage the entrepreneur to come along and invest in the town, and we should be laying out the red carpet, not putting up red tape. So I believe because I think in town here there's definitely more potential with nightlife, with restaurants and that sort of thing. With the numbers that are coming, I think we need to have an eye to the future and look at it. There is going to be growth. It's an exciting time, and also the Westland milk. There's a future there. There's probably going to be growth in that excellent company that employs most coasters. So I think it's exciting times.
It is exciting times. Now, the elderly council has 66 pensioner houses. I've heard you talking about the need to look after the elderly. What are your views there?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Like my old mum is 87, and she isn't in a pensioner flat though. She is lucky enough to have her own house.
Yeah.
Actually, I do think it's important to look after the vulnerable. So I don't have a problem with that, and I think it's important too to make sure that if they have any increases, it has to be sustainable, but it also has to be something they can afford. So I don't have a problem with, and I know some of the great people like hope he doesn't mind me mentioning, but good old Ethel, and there are some really good people that stay in those flats that really contribute to our society and to our town, and I'd like to see them continually looked after. Yeah, I'm not saying that I would agree with us, expanding their empire too much, because there is a bit of a load on the ratepayer, and if we're going to keep rates low, it's got to be affordable, and it does cost quite a bit of money to build them and to get the new ones. So for now, I think what we've got is about right.
So a fairly positive interview from sitting back here doing this. Anything you'd like to add? People like, why would someone vote for you?
Well, all I can say is I'm putting my name forward because I think I've got the ability to do it. Also, I'd like to say that in the past, everyone makes mistakes, and I've made plenty in my time. However, I've learnt from them. And I would say that the fractious relationships that are currently in council, I think you need people in there now that can actually get on with others. And I can work with someone, not have the same belief, not have the same views, but I can respect their opinion as long as it's honestly held. And I don't have a reputation for being nasty. So I'd like to think, I've got the personality that could actually sort of get through, and I could learn as well. I'd like to think that I'm the sort of person who goes in with a reasonably open mind, and I'm not entrenched, so I don't believe in entrenched views. I believe that you should listen to what the other side's got to say. Sometimes you can meet in the middle. So that's a skill that I've developed over about 30 years as a police officer. A lot of that time I was a station sergeant, and it meant that I was in the office, and anyone who come in with a bit of a gripe usually got sent to me. So I have a bit of experience dealing with some difficult customers, and I've sort of developed a bit of a skill there. And one of the things is you don't necessarily have to agree with someone, but as long as you listen and you treat them with respect, usually there's not a problem. So I'd like to think that I can assist with this fractious relationship that appears to be present at the moment.
So would it be, looking at the candidates that have come forward so far, pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of really good candidates, and it's great to see. So everyone's passionate about our area, and what's not to like about that? We do have a great future, and the future's in everybody's hands. So I just hope that we do pick the best people, and at the end of the day, I'm putting my name forward, win or lose. I'll be happy with whoever the public pick. I'm giving it a go, and but I just hope that we do have a more stable and positive future than maybe we've had recently. So.
Well, there we go. Well, there we are, folks. That's Phil Barker. He's put his name forward. He's joined a group of very good candidates this time round. And Phil, best of luck in the election. Yeah. And let's continue to grow Westland.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bruce, for your time. Cheers, mate.